today I'm gonna be sharing with y'all some things that I wish I knew before getting married, because if I could pass on any wisdom, any advice, any type of tip, I'm gonna do it. So buckle your seatbelts and let's get into this video. Number one, there can be no growth without uncomfortable conversations. And I get it. They are, as the name implies, uncomfortable, but they're absolutely necessary in order for your relationship to grow. Now, uncomfortable conversations, that's going to be different in every relationship. For one, it might be dealing with finances. Maybe one person might not be the best. They might not have the best credit. They might be more of a spender than a saver. And that's something that you're going to have to address, because finances is truly one of the most important things when it comes to a relationship. It could be sex. One person might feel like they're not being pleased, or they might want to experiment doing new things in the bedroom. It could be even different milestones, such as jobs. Maybe one person wants to switch their career altogether. It could be a variety of things. Whatever your uncomfortable situation might be, you need to address that with your significant other, because if you don't, you're going to harbor a lot of resentment down the years when all of that could have just been resolved with some simple communication. For me, when it came to my uncomfortable conversations, it's not something that I just said, okay, let's talk about this, boom. No, I had to have a counselor and really talk things through to make sure that I was in the right headspace, that I wasn't overthinking things, and that I have the wisdom to say things properly. You know, I want to season my words with some salt and some grace. So I had to make sure that I was doing that properly before I went and addressed this with my husband, because I don't want to cause no problems. And when it comes to these conversations, don't go in thinking the worst. Like, I went in thinking the worst even after getting the counsel that I did, and I was surprised that the conversation went better than I would have even dreamed of. Go in with an open mind. This is no stranger. This is your boo. This is your significant other. This is your best friend. This is the person that you chose to spend an eternity with, Lord's will. And I promise you, once you get all these cards out on the table, you'll be amazed at how just stronger you feel to communicate things that are urgent to you. It just takes those little baby steps initially. Next, your partner is not the problem. The problem is the problem. Greed is the problem. Lust is the problem. Covetousness is the problem. Hatred is the problem. Your partner is not the problem. It's these intangible things that are the problem. But with every problem, there is a resolution. When it comes to having problems and conflicts in marriages, of course it's inevitable, but we need to remember to stop attacking each other as if we are the problem. Let's work together to find a resolution on how we can overcome this problem within the marriage. So you can stand down, sis, at ease. Take a minute to just breathe, relax, and brainstorm some ways between you and your partner how you guys plan on overcoming this, so it's not a reoccurring issue within the relationship. That's my advice. Next, you don't have to address everything going on in your mind. I know sometimes us as women, we just get so damn emotional. We just want to talk and nag about every damn thing. You don't need to do that. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. I think that's how the saying goes. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Yes, don't make something big out of something that's small. Like, learn to choose your battles. Is this really gonna matter within the next 5 minutes or the next week or the next month? If not, then just let it go. Like, don't sweat the small stuff. Learn to just brush things off. And one thing I'm learning and still trying to master is not holding a grudge. You know, your partner's gonna mess up. Your partner's not perfect. They're gonna say some things that are gonna upset you at times. But life is too short to just be huffing and puffing and screwing your face up all day. Like, no. Learn to forgive and learn to move on. I know it's easier said than done. Honey, I know. But it's something that we need to apply and just tell ourselves mentally. Like, I know you in your head, you probably like, you know what? I'm not ready to be mad at. I'm not ready to forgive me yet. I'm not ready to get over this. But you need to, hun. You need to let it go. Okay? You need to let it go, because bitterness doesn't look good on you. It doesn't. Forgiveness looks so much better. Next, changing over time is natural. Like, we're supposed to change. I'm not supposed to be the same person I was mentally a year or two ago. I'm not supposed to be the same person I was from the start of my marriage to 5 years into my marriage. Like, I expect to grow, and I expect my husband to grow as well. I believe we're gonna have different likes, different interests, things that we might have liked at one point we won't like at a certain point, and that's okay. But we need to learn how to grow together during these differences. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning that marriage isn't just saying I do one and done. Marriage is choosing to say I do every single day. I do choose to love you in spite of how I feel right now. I do choose to love you in spite of how you're really annoying me right now. I do choose to love you. I choose to serve you. I do choose to do all these things because I vow to spend the rest of my life with you. Period. Point blank. Drop the mic. And during these changes, like, give yourself grace to change. Give yourself grace to be accustomed to this new version of yourself, you know? Push yourself to want to be the best version of yourself every day. That's what I truly believe self-love is. Of course, you want to love yourself and all these things, but you need to love yourself enough to know, you know what? Even though I'm here, I know I can do better. I know I could do better with my health, the food that I put in my mouth. I know I could be more physically active. I know I could be doing so much more than I'm currently doing. And that's okay. Push yourself. Next, getting married isn't going to suddenly cure your depression or your anxiety or your loneliness if these are major things that you're struggling with right now. Because when you say I do, you choose to say I do to conflict. You choose to say I do to trials and tribulations, temptations that will come, because it's inevitable. These things are going to come, especially if you're married to like someone who's constantly on the go, constantly traveling. When that person is gone, let's say they're out of town or something, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when you just had an argument, you just blew up, and your best friend is now the enemy in your head and you don't feel like talking to him? What you're gonna have an outlet. That outlet can be prayer. It could be talking to a senior sister, a counselor, a trusted friend. It could be going to the mall. It could be doing something, anything that gives you peace of mind in that moment to just woosah, woosah, and get you back to reality so that you stay in the spirit. I don't think mental health is talked about enough within our community, and I plan on doing a video possibly about this in the future, maybe like about trauma and stuff like that. But before you get married, just learn to work on different coping strategies when it comes to anxiety and depression, so you don't go into marriage thinking that this is going to be some type of magical cure. It might feel like that, maybe the first couple of weeks or months, but then reality will set in. And then what are you going to do? This next point, I need you guys to listen clearly, okay? The things that aren't perfect with your significant other now aren't suddenly going to become perfect with your significant other later. Are you okay with marrying this person if those imperfect traits and things and qualities never changed? Because they probably won't. Like, you really have to be so for real and real with yourself. Like, is this something that I can deal with the rest of my life? Is his leadership and guidance and judgment something that I can personally trust under for the rest of my life? Is the way he spends money, is the way that he talks to me, is the way that he does this and that, even though it might not be perfect, something that is perfect for me and tolerable for me? It's like a lot of people come into marriage thinking that it's suddenly going to change people all of a sudden. It's going to make them this new person. No, honey, it's not. It's the same imperfect person that you were talking to a couple months ago that you vowed to spend the rest of your life with. So really sit down and brainstorm and write down the things that you might not like in this person now and think, is this something that I'm okay with for the rest of my life? Next, your friend's husband is not your husband. Your husband is your husband. What do I mean? I mean, we need to stop comparing our men with other men. Okay, it's not fair to you, it's not fair to them. You didn't marry your friend's husband, you married your husband. And his personality is his personality. His way of doing things, his mannerisms, it's all him. We need to stop saying things like, oh, well, you never do things like he does. Well, her husband does this. Okay, well, that's her husband. And you don't know, quite frankly, what goes on behind quiet doors. So I wouldn't be worried about another person's relationship, to be quite frank. The grass is only going to be as green as where you choose to water it. So where your husband, you might think he lacks in certain areas, water it. Water it and stop looking at what other people are doing. Build the house that you dream to have. That's what a wise woman does. She builds her house. She speaks those qualities and that encouragement into her husband that she knows he has the potential to grow up to be. She makes her home a little heaven on earth, so when her husband comes home, he knows he's coming home to a pillar of rest and not a pillar of stress. And finally, this last point is a bit comical, but you don't have to conceive on your wedding night. And what I basically mean by this is you don't have to have children literally right away. Like, if you want to spend time to just enjoy your husband, you can do that. Once it's you and him, it's just you and him. Honey, once them kids come, oh, they're there for life. And children are a blessing, don't get me wrong. I cannot wait, if it's the Lord's will, to bear my husband's children. I look forward to that day. But for now, until then, I enjoy the process of just getting to know my husband. I love traveling with him. I love being able to do things spontaneous with him. And I I love getting to know him. You know, you don't have to rush into things. Like, you can take your time and enjoy each milestone. It's okay. We still gonna be fruitful, but we gonna take our time, and we gonna do it most importantly in the Most High's timing. Don't feel as if you need to be pressured by other people, because I know I have so many people in my comments or at work saying, oh, when's the baby coming, when's the baby coming, da, da, da. Like, I know everyone's excited and a lot of people want to be part of that journey. You know, I understand that, guys. I get it. And all that will happen in God's timing. And that's all the tips that I have for you today. Things that I wish I knew before getting married. Let me know in the comments some things that you wish you knew before getting married as well, so that you can encourage the next sister so that she knows too. You know, we want to make the cycle easier for the next sister and the next sister after that when they get married. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.